Hi, and welcome to the Stock Scores Market Minutes for January 9th, 2017. Happy New Year. This week I'm going to talk about this concept of trading on evidence. I'll then do my regular weekly market analysis and then finally look at my trade of the week on GDX. All right, trading on evidence. Every day as traders, we're forced to make judgments. And it's very easy for those judgments to be clouded by our emotion. It's easy to do things based on what you want to have happen and not based on what the evidence is telling you will happen. We're inundated with information from the media, from our friends, from the market itself. And ultimately, we have to trade based on the facts that the market is giving you. Don't listen to the facts that people are giving you. Look for evidence in the market that what you believe the future direction of the stock will be is supported. Apply a mechanical approach to gather facts and avoid opinions. All right, let's get into this week's analysis. Now, it's been a few weeks since I've done this, so we've had a little bit of a change in the last little while, but basically this year has started off well. We have a downward flag here on the 60-minute, 30-day chart, and we broke the flag this week. So that's how we kicked off 2017, and we've been moving up nicely since then. We'll probably stall here at the highs. Market's sort of dealing with that Dow 20,000 issue and when it can break through, but looks to me like this points to higher prices for the S&P 500. Now, on the longer term chart, we've got that upward trend. We're in this upward sloping channel. We're not at the top of the channel, so we've got lots of upside until we get up to that point where I would worry about the market being overbought. So right now, I would say bullish on this longer term time frame as well. On the Russell 2000, we of course had that breakout back here. That was on the election, and we've been in a little bit of a flag pattern since then, keeping in mind that this is a weekly chart here. We haven't got a break out of the flag on the weekly yet, but I think that could happen soon. So I consider this to be a bullish chart as well. We have good upward momentum. On the TSX 60 short-term chart, we broke out through resistance on a horizontal basis, which is actually more positive than what we've seen on the S&P chart. So a little bit of a weakness there on Friday, but I do think that this chart wants us to go higher as well. And looking at the longer term chart, you can see the break to all-time highs right here, and that is also a positive. Now, the only issue is it's been going up for a while, and at a certain point, we're going to get some profit taking. And the next chart, the TSX Venture, which has been suffering for a while as gold was pulling back, but gold had a bit of a bounce this week, and this chart actually looks better than most. Now, keep in mind that this isn't just a gold chart. There are a lot of miners on the TSX Venture, and but there's also a lot of marijuana stocks, a lot of oil and gas stocks. So we've been sort of drifting lower as the mining sector has dragged everything else down. But now we're starting to break up as gold bounce. And so it looks to me like the TSX Venture may start to continue higher. I do think with interest rates going up, that points to investors wanting to look for more risk, and they tend to look towards the smaller cap stocks for that. On the Treasury side, we had a little bounce this week, but we're still below the downward trend line. This was heavily oversold in the bond market. I think we come back up to that downward trend line, but then get stuck. So short term, doesn't surprise me if the bond market goes up, which means interest rates come down a little bit short term. But longer term, I do think that this chart is pointing to at least sideways market for the bonds in the months ahead. On the US dollar, good strength. We had that downward trend line broken there. We broke out, and we've been moving higher since. We're in an upward sloping channel. A little bit of weakness at the end of this past week, but nothing really major yet. I do think the US dollar wants to go higher, and until that upward trend line is broken, I think you remain bullish on the US dollar. And yes, there was some weakness in the US dollar very short term, as I said, the last few days, and that's helped gold come up. This is a daily chart, not a weekly. It is still below that downward trend line. It was oversold, and it's coming back up to that downward trend line. I think we could have a little more upside in gold before it rolls over, but I still think this is a bearish chart. Short term, maybe neutral. Longer term, still a bearish chart. So be cautious with gold and gold stocks. On the oil side, we're getting nice low volatility here right at resistance. So this is the resistance that's held up for most of 2016, well, all of 2016 really, and we've been in that sideways range, and we're at low volatility at the top of that range. So if oil, and this is a big if it can break through 12 on the USO, then that points to higher prices for oil. It hasn't done it yet, so don't get too optimistic. I'm rating this neutral for now, but that is something to keep an eye on. And on the fear side, well, fear is not a factor in the market. We are hitting new lows on the VIX, and any little bit of concern that comes up doesn't last very long. So I don't consider this to be a great trading vehicle right now. Wait for a major correction to begin before this thing is worth trading. So my outlook, bullish on US stocks, both time frames. Same for Canadian gold, longer term bearish. I've upped my rating to neutral short term, oil neutral on both time frames. Stocks have begun 2017 with strength and have good upward momentum with no sign of weakness as they move to new all-time highs. Stay bullish until that trend is broken, but still watch the trend. I mean, it could get broken. We've had a healthy move in the last little while. It could break any day, so keep an eye out for that. But as for now, it is in a bullish trend. Gold is bouncing, but it still has lots of pessimism to overcome. Oil building a good base that could lead to an upward trend, but it's not there yet. And basically, we don't see a lot of fear in the market. All right, let's look at my trade of the week. This was from Friday. Symbol is GDX. I put the stock on my watch list because this action that happened at the start of the day, that's something you see some pink dots in that chart, and on a different time frame, it made a strong opening candle of the day. That's what puts the stock on my watch list. And then I look for my other dots, and there's a white dot right there, which is called a message candle. You can't really see it, but there's also a blue dot there. It's very difficult to see because it's on a black background, but that is also what I call a wave crossover. And so basically we had my signal to enter that trade with a buy right there, stop right there, and it had a good run into the close, almost 10 to 1 I believe on this one. So great reward for risk trade on GBX. And hey, I don't know anything about this company, I just follow the market action, look for the evidence. That was this week's topic. Well, hope you've had a great holiday season, and I hope that this week's analysis will help you. Looking forward to next week. Subscribe to the channel, add your comments, and as always, trade well.